But what have you thought so far of your Lakers through the first 3 games of the series?
Man, I've thought that when Anthony Davis is out there, this is, in my opinion, the team that I have making it out the West. If Anthony Davis can play at the MVP level that we all know that he can play at, right? What I like when I talk about Anthony Davis, I say the best kind of ability for Anthony Davis is availability. Because when he's available, in my opinion, he's the best big in the league, and it alters every matchup. And so for right now, with the Grizzlies, I think that the Lakers ultimately just match up way better than them, especially with Steven Jackson now, with Brandon Clark out, and just so many injuries that they're dealing with. That means that when Jaren Jackson Jr. gets in foul trouble, you're having to bring in Xavier Tillman, David Roddy, and don't get me wrong, like they had a good game too, and got to Anthony Davis, but throughout a 7 game series, we can't expect first year, second year players to match up against a first ballot Hall of Famer. So I think that unfortunately with the Grizzlies, they just got hit with some injuries at the worst time, and with their current roster construction and the way the Lakers roster constructor is, I just think it's just not a good matchup for the Grizzlies, and the Lakers are going to be able to take that out. And Dylan Brooks, don't get me started on that guy.
Ooh, hey man, I like that. I like that take a lot, bro. Because listen, 2 weeks ago we did our playoff predictions, and I believe I don't even know if we had the Lakers coming out of the first round in our predictions, but in my personal predictions, I had them going to the conference finals, and they were like, "That's kind of a crazy take." And now I think it's looking a lot better. Looking at this matchup, like I think like the games they've won have just been really impressive. And like the game with Ja out that the Grizzlies won, it feels so weird because it's harder to game plan for teams when they're not at their full strength, especially just on the fly like that. But I mean, stealing home court that first game in LA was just electric. The Grizzlies came out flat on the road. It's like I don't think it'll be too hard for the Lakers to replicate that kind of performance. The only thing that the Grizzlies can kind of take as a moral victory is that once Ja ramped up, he ramped up. When he scored, what was it, 22 straight points for them late in the game, I genuinely thought they had a chance. And they were still pretty far out, but around like 3 minutes left, I think the Grizzlies get an offensive board, Ja top of the key, wide open three. Announcers like screaming. I thought it was going in, and that would have cut it to like 8 with 3 minutes left. And with how hot they were, I thought that would have given them a shot to come back and win the game. But they fell short there, and the Lakers ended up taking it. And at that point, it's just, the only thing you can really say is too little too late. So, I mean, I liked a lot of what I saw from them later, but you can't come out flat like that in LA. I think that fan base is just too riled up, and those players have too much experience to really let it get away from them. So if Memphis wants to have a chance there, they got to come out game 4 and be ready to take it early, or they might find themselves out of this series quick.
Yeah, I mean, you can't come out down 38-9 against any team in the postseason because that's just such a terrible deficit to try and overcome, especially on the road against LeBron, Anthony Davis. I like what ClutchTalk said when AD is locked in, when he's playing at his best. He looks like a top 5 player in basketball as far as I'm concerned. Just especially the way he can control the game on the defensive side of the floor. But then it's like you do have those games like game 2 where he's getting outplayed by guys like Xavier Tillman. But I expect them to be able to bounce back from that like he did in game 3. If they can win tonight, they definitely have a good chance. A potential second round matchup with them and the Warriors would be like crazy box office. Like everybody would want to see Curry against LeBron. So if we do get to that point, that's going to be a fun series. But I've definitely been impressed. Obviously the front line matchup was definitely in the Lakers' favor with Adams being out, with Brandon Clark being out. That definitely just catered a lot towards the Lakers. But still got to go out and play, still got to go out and execute. And they've done that so well. They've gotten great games from their role players. Hachimura, his just kind of out of nowhereness in this playoff run has been kind of, a sight to see. Because in the regular season, he had some solid moments for them. But, I mean, he's had like some 29-point games, some 20-plus point games in this series. So if you're getting production like that, it's definitely boding well for the Lakers.
Yeah, definitely. AD and the depth is the two things that stand out for me, and you guys touched on that. AD, other than game 2, has been extremely, extremely dominant. And even though he's in a series with the Defensive Player of the Year, he has been the best defensive player in this series, no doubt about it. And even though AD's been pretty good, and like LeBron's been good, but he hasn't been anything amazing. The biggest thing that I noticed from this Lakers team offensively, like you alluded to, Tyrik, is Rui Hachimura has been absurdly good for them. and he's finally having a coming out party and showing his upside in the middle of the playoffs, which is an absolutely absurd time to do it, but it's a great time for him and a great time for the Lakers. And Austin Reeves has continued to play very well as well. And I know you and me talked about Austin Reeves a while ago, Clutch Talk, with LeBron coming back and how Reeves was going to fit in. And Reeves has continued to look great. He's continued to prove that his hot run a few months ago was not any bit of a fluke. And he's just continued to be very productive. And the fact that they've had such good secondary production from Hachimura and Austin Reeves has been a really, really nice bonus for this Lakers offense that would probably be okay without them, but is definitely having a lot more success otherwise, especially considering the fact that neither team in this series is shooting that well from three.